And we are live. Welcome everyone to another part of this series where we hop on with builders in the Celestia ecosystem and learn about what they're building. Today we're going to be going over exploring Celestia, and I'm excited to be joined today by Alexander from Celenium, and we'll be learning today how to explore Celestia from the point of view from the three main users that we see. These are rollup developers, blockchain infrastructure developers, for example, someone not making a rollup, but doing something like interchain messaging, and developers who want to focus on analytics for their rollups. Maybe you're on a rollup team and that's what you focus on. So today we'll be learning how to use the Celenium API to handle all of these use cases for the three main users. And if you have any questions at any point during the call, please drop them in the chat. We can also throw them up on the screen. So yeah, all the source code will be available on GitHub, and we'll be linking this in the stream description after. Alexander, it's great to have you.
Hey, Josh. Yeah, thank you for having me here. And it's pretty exciting to show our audience and all developers how to build simple tracking solution to monitor how their rollup is performing, and it is crucial step in every complex application development, because like when you build something and if it complex, then it's better to collect metrics as early as possible. So after you will sooner or later create some changes into your logic of your application, you'll have this data, so you will be able to analyze where your changes are good, or where you should or could optimize something. So let's
I'm going to go ahead
start.
and get started. Yeah. So what I'll be doing is getting up something that we're calling the dummy rollup, or I called the dummy rollup. This is a simple Rust project that communicates with the Celestia Light node to post data to Celestia. It's going to be generating random blobs, but we're going to be able to set the amount, the size of those blobs. And we're going to also pick a namespace in plain text to use. And Alexander, if you want to remind me which one we're using before I get that started, that would be great. But yeah, that's about all for that. And we're going to switch over to my terminal. Actually change this up.
We can use just like something like rollup one, for example.
Awesome. And yeah, I guess for context, the first thing I want to do, if you haven't done this before, is start your light node. And we're going to be running it with the skip auth flag. It just makes it easier for these two things that are running on the same machine to communicate with each other.
And don't forget to top up your account behind light node.
And if you need to check your ballots, you can do that. These are not real errors. Everything is okay. We're still getting headers and sampling them. And our node is funded here, so we're good to go. And we're going to also need this. Cool. So now that that's running, the first thing we want to do is actually get the rollup going. So I will run this to the rollup one namespace. And we're going to be doing, oh man, I forgot my own. We're going to be doing one blob at a time.
Yeah, one blob at a time will perfectly work.
And 10,000 bytes.
10,000 bytes, for example.
Nice. So now that this is going, it is going to be attempting to send rollup batches to the light node. Once that is actually included, we're going to see the block height that it was included at. And I think the next thing we need to do if we're doing this as a rollup developer is register this rollup on Selenium.
Yeah. And we're gonna do in this context, like Josh did something that basically all rollup developers are doing. They running their own instance of light node or full node, depending on the scenario, and they post data into one or maybe several namespaces. So to identify rollup on Celestia, we need to we can't just show the data that is posted by on particular namespace. We need to we identify the rollup data by its account and its namespace, or maybe there can be like many-to-many relation. So rollup can use several addresses. And Josh sent me his account of his light node, and
So yeah, if I were doing this on my own, I would go and register the rollup here, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
you can do it. You should just fill the simple form, and you can find the link for that form on the rollup leaderboard page or in like the left side menu. There are
Awesome.
like just a couple
Easy
questions.
enough. Get your brand in there and your Twitter and stuff like that. Sweet.
Yep. So now I'm gonna let's.
So now we do want to register the rollup, and there is one that's already registered, but we're going to need to change the address, I think. Oh no, we're good.
I think no, that one is registered with a different address.
While I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and check that we're still submitting blobs, which we are, and I'm going to go ahead and find that namespace now by scrolling through the last used namespaces. I'm going to blow this up for us. And if we check out that namespace, there are a lot of blobs in it, but only a few minutes ago did we start seeing blobs from this account in our run. So once the rollup's registered, we're going to be able to see those blobs that are posted from this account to this namespace, and we know that those are the ones for the rollup. We also see that there's another account in here, and that is one that we're not going to associate with this. And once our rollup is registered, then we're going to actually be able to interact with it on the Selenium API, which is what we're going to be showing you around more, or Alexander will be showing you around more.
Yep. So in the middle of registration.
Awesome.
I think we're good. So let's go to mockup selenium.io/rollups. And
nice.
Yeah. So I can go from here. Josh, thank you for don't rollup. And
for context, we had a little issues with our setup, so we're doing it different than we planned, but it's always fun to roll with it.
Yeah. So let me share my screen. Okay. So can you see my screen?
Yep.
Great. So where are we? Imagine that you're a rollup developer and you have successfully run your rollup with Celestia underneath, and you have registered it on Selenium. So now you can see that you have a page and on Selenium with links that are associated with your project, and you can see that blobs are tracked by Selenium. But you need to, for example, you have your in-house dashboard or some kind of panel where you want to track how your rollup is performing, or maybe your analytics want to also analyze. Imagine like that your analytics want to analyze the size of blobs that you are posting and cumulative value of data that was posted on Celestia, and as a result, they want to calculate the total amount of fees that was paid to Celestia, and like based on this data, you can in future optimize your rollup performance. So in that case, you can use our public Selenium API, and we'll go to that is accessible by ipplans.selenium.io and documentation on domain IP docs selenium.io. And to track size for that is posted by your rollup, we'll go to blobs endpoint that is described under section rollup. Get rollup blobs. So we'll use this endpoint, but as you can see, to receive your blobs, you'll need ID of your rollup.
And you'll get that when you register it?
Not yet. You'll get the link for your blob for your rollup page, and you will see like we know only a slug.
Got it.
And you can choose the slug that will be saved in and used in the system. So, but to receive ID, you need to get either like you can get all rollups and receive the ID. Let me show you. Yep, ID as an integer, or you can get like the data only about your rollup by using this endpoint rollup/slug/ and use your slug here. So let's try it.
We need Mocha though, right?
Yep.
Nice.
We'll we can do it. Oh, I will leave API. Yeah, so you can send this request with the simple curl command, and almost all endpoints of our API is open and publicly available with with limits on RPC and like the resource usage that you're gonna utilize. But several endpoints are hidden by and you'll need to register and get API key to receive this information. And by registration and subscription to API, you'll have like bigger limits on RPC, and you can by utilizing it, you do not need to run your own node, your full node, or
sounds like it could save a lot of overhead, basically.
Yeah.
So
we send request to API Mocha, and now we have the ID of our rollup. It is 11. This is stream rollup 1 and other stuff, other data. So now we can get blobs that are posted by our rollup by using this endpoint. But we'll do it a little bit in different way. We'll do it with writing script that will collect all blobs that were posted by our rollup and save this data to a local database. And based on this data, we'll create some visual representation of its statistics. So your analytics or your developers, it will be easier for them to track that data. So we'll go to source, create Buildstream, and we'll init. We'll init new Go model, and now we have Go mod file. And let's create a main.go file where all our code will be
Nice.
written. Okay. Okay. So to retrieve the data from, what are we going to do? We're going to we're going to pull Selenium API every 10 seconds, for example, or 12 seconds as the maximum time of that is required to publish new blog on Celestia. And every 12 seconds, we'll request the latest blob that was posted by our rollup and save this data to local database. That's it. So let's call our package main, and I'll do some code so it will be faster. I need this these models, database SQL for SQL connection, JSON to decode data from API and convert it to our model of blob that we will also implement here, and some other packages for formatting strings, logging, and network requests. Then let's define constants that we'll use for SQL Postgres connection. I will use my local demo Postgres database credentials, but you should use here your Postgres credentials. And the name Postgres. Okay. So, and also let's define constants that we will use for requesting data from API. It is
the URL that you were getting from the docs, right?
Yep.
Nice.
And here we'll use rollup ID, and as we know, for our rollup it is 11. And also we will select the limit with only for one blob. We'll request only one blob, and sort it descending, sort by time. So we'll retrieve the last published blob by our rollup. And let's define constant with our APK.
And I guess if you're watching this and you go ahead and get your own API key, don't share it on a stream like this.
Yeah, be thoughtful with your APK.
Yeah. If you're quick enough, I don't know, have fun with this one.
Okay, so also by reading documentation, you can see the query parameters that are accepted by this endpoint and the model of response that you're gonna receive. So you'll have an array with of blobs, and each blob will have information about commitment, content type, height, namespace, and signer and size. Yeah, size and time. These parameters will be we're interested in these parameters because we're gonna build graphs analytics based on them. So we'll create model. Let me zoom out a little bit.
Perfect.
Yeah, like that.
How that works.
Yeah, so this is like the simplified model of blob that we're gonna retrieve from API, and the most important properties, it is size and time. And let's define the main function that will interact with blob's endpoint. It is, we'll call it fetch blobs. So basically, it is pretty simple function that sends get request to our API URL and just handles if there were any error that that happened during the creation of requests. We set up our API key in the header, and then we'll send this request, also handle errors, and if everything is okay and request was successful, then we'll decode the response body into our into blobs that is presented by defined structure here. So basically, it's pretty simple.
This is the piece, the function that'll retrieve from the API, and then we'll be doing other things with the local database to track the size and stuff. Nice.
Yeah. And so the whole API is this RESTful API. It is pretty easy to read what every endpoint does, and through the name of methods, and all models, all requests, all parameters are documented on portal. So if you have any questions or suggestions on methods, or maybe you need some additional information from API, please, you are welcome to create an issue or reach us out through Discord or Telegram. So we'll also add some utility methods that are working with database. This is we'll define create table if not exists data method that will just simply run SQL that creates a table in our database. Also handles errors, and the last one utility method that will save blobs that will retrieve from API into database. Also, just a simple method that runs SQL on our database. And let's, and one more utility method, just a method that connects our application to Postgres. So we just use the constants that we have defined in the top of our application.
Nice. So it's reading from the API, creating a database, storing it in the database in 140 lines of code. so far. Nice.
Yep. And here the main function, the entry point of our program, it is function main that just utilize all defined functions. It connects to database. It creates table blobs if it not exists, and then we'll just do an sorry
Okay.
yeah we'll just do simple for infinite loop that will fetch every iteration. It will fetch blobs from API, and if there were no errors and we have received at least one blob, then we will but in our case, in our logic, we will retrieve only one blob. We'll save this blob to our database.
How hard would it be to save them all if I wanted to do batches of 10 or something?
You'll will need to just update the parameters. We're gonna remove the limit for our requests, and with in fetch blobs logic, we won't change anything because here we already this method returns array of blobs. So basically, you'll need to just remove limit and update logic of storing blobs, because here this function retrieves only one instance of blob object or blob structure. So you'll need to update this logic to go through array and insert every blob from that array.
We'll stick to the example we planned on, but
Yep.
thank you.
Yeah. And it's it's a pretty simple example, and in normal application you'll be you won't define the URL to the whole URL as a constant, and
Yep.
you're basically gonna do some kind of dynamic string creation with these parameters.
Cool.
Okay, and after sending and receiving blobs and saving, we're gonna sleep for 12 seconds and wait till next block will be published and get data from the next block. Again, this is pretty simple example, and in real life examples, you don't track publishing of new blocks by sleeping for 12 seconds or
No.
yeah, you're constant. By on Selenium API, we also have WebSockets, and by connecting to WebSockets, you can subscribe to every new block publishing and retrieve data as soon as possible after new block was published and indexed by Selenium. Okay, so here's our simple script, simple application, and also before running, we need to get library so that we would be able to connect to Postgres. And yep, let me check. Yeah, tables and delete it. Okay, so this is our database, and I have just deleted the table that was previously created. Okay, now let's go and run our application. Go run main.go. Okay, we see the table blobs successfully created. Yeah, and the first block was successfully saved. let's see. It here. Yeah, blobs. And let's I have already written script. Yeah, so this is our blobs. They are saved, and as we can see, the size of blobs is 10,000 bytes, as Josh selected as a parameter for his rollup. Okay, so everything seems to be working.
Is there a better way to maybe visualize this?
Yep. Yeah, it's like this is really like technical way to just check that we have up and we have our application that works, that saves something, but we would like to have something better than that. And for visualization, we're gonna use like one of the most popular tool to track and monitor performance of applications. We'll use Grafana. So in this case, if you're on a Mac, you can install Grafana by simply running brew install Grafana. I have already installed it, so it will be, yeah, it says that it is already installed, but you will have a slightly longer output. And after that, we're gonna run Grafana by running brew services start Grafana. I have already started it, so your output will be also slightly different. And okay, and so we have running Grafana on our local machine. Let's go and see it. Like, yep. Okay, localhost 3000. You can access it by going to this address, localhost and port 3000, and we'll go to menu and go to data sources. Right now we don't have any data source, so we'll add one by clicking add data source and going to pasting, writing Postgres in search field. We'll choosing Postgres, rename data source to the name of your choice. For example, stream one data source, or maybe something more meaningful. And we'll put some parameters: host, localhost 5432. It is like a localhost of our database. Postgres username Postgres. Password that you have chosen for on your machine. And if you're running locally Postgres, then almost you'll need to disable TLS mode. You'll need to enable it only in case that you have explicitly set up that type of connection to your database. Enable that type of connection. And version of Postgres will select 15. This is like the latest version in this list, but we're running a 17 version, so any version that will be up to after 15 version will be good. And meantime, interval looks like 1 second, but you can leave it 1 minute also. It depends on your scenario. So save and test. Database connection.
I didn't realize that Grafana was this easy to set up.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It looks easy, at least.
It looks easy. It's pretty straightforward from the point of view of configuration and creation of dashboards. It's like you can play like a couple of days and it doesn't break your mind with like some kind of crazy complexity and big amount of steps to configure. And plus has wide range of like extensions and data source providers. So we go to creating dashboard for the data source. We'll just simply click Add Visualization, choose our data source, and I'm gonna hide it for now. Panel title, and here like a little bit more maybe complex interface, but still, we'll right now we track only data about blobs, and we have. And we want to display how size of our published blobs is different from based on the timeline. So we will select as a data source for this graph our table blobs, and we will choose 2 columns size and time, because we're gonna build time series for the start, and for time series you'll need like 2 axes for creating it. And plus let's if we will have like the rollup that is performing for like more than like 30 minutes, then we'll want to track we'll want to track like the last available, the most recent data, and it of course depends on your scenario. Maybe you want to track like your performance of your rollup like year wise and see how what is the dynamic in that range. But for that scenario, we'll order data by time and focus and order it in descending way. So we'll retrieve the most recent data as the first.
So you could, if you wanted to, you could go back and search the whole entire namespace from the beginning of the history of the namespace and then sort it maybe by the address that you want to look for. Oh, I guess it's already sorted, or only that address would show up.
Yeah, it's like we can if you track like data from namespace, there will be a lot more data than for your particular rollup, and in that case you're definitely gonna need some kind of more detailed like specification on on limits for, so we won't work with all data that is posted to rollup, because there are some rollups with like gigabytes of data, and it's like you don't need to like do some statistics on that pretty random data. Okay, so for in that case we're gonna order our data by not size, by time, and order in this sort by descending, and limit by 100 items. Okay, and okay, we have time series. Let's call this panel blob size, blob sizes, and let's let's go through these parameters. As you can see, there's a lot of
ways to customize it.
Yeah, well, we can choose unit, but we'll do it later for different role, for different graph. Okay, I think we're good.
Nice.
Let's apply it. No. Let's again. 1 hour. Yeah. And yeah. So Now we see first dashboard with the performance of our rollup that tracks the size of posted blobs by time. Now it's just a constant because our rollup is posting 10,000 kilobytes each blob. And okay, so let's we can create a couple more dashboards graphs by simply copying this graph. You can do it by clicking Command shortcut PD, and let's display also, for example, average or mean blob size. Let's display it as a maybe some kind of speed measure, something like that, and choose calculation as a mean, so it will calculate average value by, again, all blobs that we will retrieve by calculating its average size of these blobs, and we'll limit our blobs by the last 100 that was posted.
Would there be a way to look at fees, for example, like fees paid per kilobyte or something, or fees paid per byte?
Yep. You just
Nice.
Just looking to you predicting what I'm going to say next, because
Oh, no way.
yeah, because right now we have this just simple size size. We display only size of our blobs, but of course this is more technical stats, but you can also create statistics that will show for example, you will retrieve the size of blobs, and you can get the gas price of and fee price for current fee price from also Celenium API, and you can see it in the gas section. So you can, for example, get estimated gas for pay for blob, and yeah, and also estimated gas price. These estimations are based on historical data. Basically, they're calculated by gas price that was effective the last 100 blocks on Celestia. Okay, so and yeah, also here we can make it more readable and choose, as long as we know that it is bytes, we can make it bytes and see it like that. Great. So let's then get back to rollup. And Josh, I will ask you to stop your rollup and run it with updated parameter for blob size. And now please choose like the half of its size.
Yeah, so let's say that in this example, I made an optimization on my rollup that basically reduced the amount of blobs that I have to post. It's still going to post the same amount of blobs; they'll just be lower in size right now.
Maybe you have you're trying new compression algorithm that you utilize to compress data before posting data to Celestia. Yeah, or maybe some other optimization with data that is posted to Celestia. Maybe you have removed some kind of non-required fields, non-required models, and you figured out how to restore state by less amount of data. By the
Nice.
way, yeah, we'll also add auto refresh.
That would make sense.
Yeah. Yep.
The average is going down. Nice.
Yeah, average going down, and the blob size going down, but the scale of this graph is not so. It seems like it's going.
I guess I could make another optimization and then it would go down more.
Yeah, and yeah, you can also add something like something that will show you some relative, yeah, the relation between your current size of average size of posted data there with the comparison to previously saved statistic. For example, we can access diff. We can add again mean, or maybe medium if you want to look at it more from statistical point of view. And yeah, add show percentage change. Apply. Yeah, no.
I guess it's up 100% from what it was, or from the 5,000 kilobytes. 5 kilobytes.
Yeah, it's like it's getting smaller, but yeah, difference. Strange thing, by the way. I think
It's all good. We don't need to.
yeah. I think maybe
Yeah, I don't know.
okay.
It might be a rounding thing. That's my guess.
Maybe it yeah compares with the historical data and still it's getting smaller. But anyway, it's like
Yeah.
in that way, in this by utilizing in that way, you can build your own monitoring system and track how your rollup performs. And in addition, like in as a more advanced steps, you can also retrieve data with the gas price. You can retrieve data about other rollups and compare your performance with other applications that are works on Celestia. And by like using this API, and like the only limits that you have is your imagination on how deeply you can analyze and what like insights you want to retrieve from like your performance on Celestia, and like make some kind of conclusions and take actions on optimizing your application.
So you could use this to like monitor your roll up in case something goes down, to track like your uptime basically.
Yep, it's like you can build some kind of health check system from by as the most simple solution is to track the latency between posted data from your rollup to Celestia, and if that metric will show you that that your rollup hasn't posted any data for last like 1 hour or like a day, then maybe something's going wrong, and you can configure some kind of like alert systems like Kuma or something else, and retrieve alert on so you would be able to handle that error and do it in like most the mostly fast way as possible.
I'm thinking of an example that's maybe more it's a little bit out there, but what if I were posting SVGs on chain, like images as an SVG? Would I be able to use the API to pull the actual blob and then display that?
Yeah, it's like it right now we identify the content type of each blob, but on Selenium, for example, you can if you will post any JPEG or PNG image, then you would be able to see it. We will show it as an image. With the SVG, it is slightly more different. We do not decode it
Yeah,
to SVG and like post it to on a website, but like from API, you can retrieve the actual bytes of blob and uh, and like decode it as you would like to.
cool. Yeah, I mean, that seems like it could be pretty fun. It's got me thinking of like a nouns kind of angle on maybe building something on chain as a base rollup. Yeah, so I guess we can go into like I want to go into like more ideas later, but I want to get to questions real quickly. Jakob is asking, is it possible to submit a data blob using Selenium API? And I
Mm,
don't think so right now. I might be wrong.
yeah, right now it is. You're right. Right now it is not possible to post data through Selenium API. We have because it's like it doesn't at current like it doesn't really make sense to post data through Selenium because like then the data will be like owned by account that will be used by Selenium behind
Yeah,
that action. Yeah,
right.
and if you post data, then it won't be you like the signer of that
Yeah, true.
account, and seems like you will lose the ownership of and
That's a
trust
good way to
data.
look at it. And it seems like even if you did have a service that stored the account for you,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, Selenium would still be controlling the account. So it'd be like a
Yeah.
custodial way to post blobs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess the right way to do it is with a light node.
With Light Node, yeah, right now we have like this on Selenium Light Node runner that is based on built with Lumina, and but you can right now you can only run Light Node on in browser, but like maybe in future if the API of this project will give this possibility to submit data through it, then you would be able to send. But still, the keys will be like in browser, and they
Yeah,
will be they will be deleted after the end of the session.
makes sense. Um, a follow-up question from Jakob is if that we know it's not possible, but I'm curious. He's asking how to integrate it with a wallet extension. And I notice on the Selenium website, you can connect your wallet and then post a blob through that.
Yeah.
And that's using Kepler. Is that basically just constructing the transaction and sending it to Kepler?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it's like the mm, we do not store any keys and we do not sign transaction. We only create the mm, like the transaction. We encode data that you post through our interface, our application, and then we send this data through Kepler or any other wallet that will be presented in the future. We send this data through wallet API, and wallet asks you to sign it and send it to the network. And
25 kilobytes. See
yeah,
if I have something that's 25 kilobytes to post.
and is it possible to integrate it with the wallet extension? or if you have a wallet and you, for example, you want to track, like, for example, you want to see the status of transaction, yeah, and you want to see that the transaction was actually posted and it is available on networks. Then, for example, in that case, of course, you can integrate your wallet with our API and track all data that was actually posted on Celestia, and track index data. It means that you have more flexible way to search data. You can find a relation between different entities, and you can work with also synthetic models that by which you would, it will be much more easier to work with on-chain data.
I guess if you're watching and you have more questions, now's a good time to drop those in the chat. I guess I want to talk for a few minutes about some ideas that people could take and run with and build on their own. I guess some dashboards that show you things that the Explorer doesn't show you are good ideas. Something that Ryan, who was on the last stream, had an idea about that you could do with either like a light Lumina or with the Selenium API is proving adjacent headers. You could do something like use SP1 to prove basically that the chain is just performing correctly. I think an idea that Alexander had, I'll let you give it actually, is mempool.space. I think that's a pretty cool one.
Yeah, it's like the most common use cases of utilizing the indexer API. It is either wallet applications or any kind of application that works with like accounts and the balances. It can be a portfolio application. It can be portfolio application. It can be application that analyze the balances and activity of users on any specific chain, and by with this new wave of popularity of IBC transfers and multi-chain communication, then by utilizing these services, you would be able to have more you can draw a bigger picture on how exactly money's tokens are going through different networks, and where are they going, and what are the trends, and where is the real activity, and where is the fake activity on hyping the just the project. And so it's this is index data is still pretty raw, but but you can by using this API and the similar systems, you can dig deeper on what's really happening in in the ecosystem, in Cosmos, and this is the finance analytics. And if you're a roll-up developer, then it is definitely it is good tool to create your monitoring systems and to track your health check, your performance, and also you can use it more. You can use it more as a it a little bit artificial, but you can use it to validate that that data was you have posted was actually posted on chain, and uh, you have a valid commitment from chain, and it is especially useful for projects that are built on top of some kind of services like Rust, for example, and they do not have access to inner stuff, and they do not really know what's happening under the hood. But still, they want to like track and validate that everything works as
Yeah.
as expected.
And you were kind of going into a direction that we talked about in one of our calls, where the question that maybe you're new to like blockchains, somehow you found your way here. Like, what's the actual practical use case of this? Let's say we could time travel back to like 2008,
Mhm. Yeah,
and let's say that everything that like US finance did was on a blockchain. Uh, what would we have been able to do then?
yeah, it will be really interesting case uh, to see how easy it would be to track the uh, real um, real market, um, like this schemes,
Yeah.
like with as you mentioned, like this example with the last and one of the biggest crises that happened in 2008, and as we like knew it happened because of the loans and the um, the that product that was literally like the insurance on that loans, and in case of that crisis, the one of the main reasons that it happened it because like that insurance were sold several times per each loan, and if it would be built on top of blockchain, then first of all, like the public audience would be able to track it and analyze, and it will be all data will be open, and of course, if data is open, it is not always means that everyone's track it and
Yeah.
analyze it, yeah, and nobody read all open source code of libraries that they use from
No.
GitHub, yeah.
No way. Yeah.
And, but still, it's like the whole thing. It happened not on in one day. It happened like for in several years, and like it increased the chances that that data would be tracked and analyzed. And more than that, if it again if it will be if it would be built on blockchain, then these politics that just simply gave like this AAA ratings to this insurance is like we right now know that it was a major it has a major uh, inflation by like the name of companies that sold this insurance.
Yeah.
And if but that algorithm on identifying the rating, you can like you can write it down as a smart contract,
Yeah.
and you can fool it. And in that case, that whole thing will be like broken on the first step when that rating was given. And in that case, like this uh,
We
when the
solved one of the biggest problems with blockchains in our time traveling.
Hmm?
Never
Yeah.
mind. Um,
Uh,
so there's one more question in the chat. I want to get to that, and then we can close things up here.
mhm.
This is more Lumina specific. So, is it possible to submit blobs to the Lumina node? I thought it was not possible. I don't think it currently is possible. Yeah.
Yes, Jakub, you're right. It is not possible right now, but I suggest that if Lumina will provide that feature, then it would be possible to send like data from Selenium through in-browser
Node.
node, light node.
Yeah. Nice. Awesome. I learned a lot about Selenium. I also learned a lot about how to just spin up a database and track my performance in my rollup. I want to thank you for joining, Alexander, and ask you if you have any closing words for the audience.
Thank you for providing this stream for working with API and Celestia, and thanks audience for great questions and for your time. And I encourage you to try out to whatever you're building on Celestia. Keep doing it and try out our API, so you would be able to like close the loop on creating your application and tracking your application. So it will be like the fastest you will receive the feedback on how you perform, the better you're gonna be. So good luck and
Amazing.
build.
Looking forward to seeing what everyone builds. Thank you again, Alexander, and have a good day, everyone.